Gao gao, dabby chow, yo! Today, we're going to be playing a real classic that I am very excited about. We are going to play Sadistic Blood by Black Psych. Now, I know you're thinking, but Black Psych hasn't been active since 2009. Not really. They have produced quite a few Nukige since then. Nukige? Nukige. They've produced quite a few Nukige since then, but they have not been of the same quality as some of their classics like Gore Screaming Show, Mugen Kairo 2 Extravaganza, Minden Blood. But as you can see by the title, Sadistic Blood seems to be a spiritual successor to their Minden Blood series. Now, I have not finished the Minden Blood series. It's difficult to get a hold of nowadays, especially because it's not compatible with Windows 10, I believe. But hopefully I'll be able to find a used copy of it, but I'm familiar enough with the story of Minden Blood to have an idea of how Sadistic Blood will work. Essentially, I believe there's a society of vampires who are on the run from humans versus vampires, a war between the two species, which, of course, in typical Black Psych fashion, has plenty of blood, and gore, and violence. You can tell this is very much a return to form. The music, the system, the font, the art, it is very, very much in the vein, get it, in the vein of their previous vampiric works. So I am just so pleased to see them back again. I also enjoyed their other game, Before Dawn Daybreak, even though that was sort of poorly received. I still think it was a good collection, a good addition to their collection of dark games. Some of their games, like the Cthulhu Great Hunting series, personally, I don't think is as good as their other works. But if you're in for a dark, gross, grotesque, twisted time, you're going to have some fun. Of course, adult scenes will not be shown. I'll leave that up to your imagination. Even the system sound effects are just the same as they used to be. That ringing noise on the system menus is exactly the same as it was on Gore Screaming Show. This is very nostalgic. Alright. In a single moment, my ordinary life came to a screeching halt. All I could recall was the intense pain spreading through my body, contrasted by the cold rain battering my skin. Even the rain effects is very much in tune to their vintage titles. Well, it wasn't vintage at the time, it was very ahead of its time, but it's very much similar to their classic titles. For example, Gore Screaming Show had quite a few moving backgrounds, and they achieved this by having the skies, the illustration of the skies move behind the static paper dolls of the character. It seems like they're doing a similar effect with the rain upon a static background. And to me, it's just sort of really intuitive and really ingenious that even with limited budget, I know they can accomplish so much more nowadays than they could in the past, but it's so nostalgic and so, I don't know, heartwarming to me that they're so attuned to their old aesthetic. It's nice to see that they still haven't strayed very far from how good they could be, from their best titles and their best works. And they could really accomplish so much when they really, really tried. A black filter settled over my field of vision. I couldn't tell what happened to me. It sounded like a car crash. I barely managed to let out my voice. It was so husky and hoarse, I didn't even recognize it as my own. When I tried to move, I found my limbs completely numb and devoid of sensation. I couldn't even figure out where my own hands were. A moan of pain escaped my lips. Everywhere and everything hurt. Why? Why did it hurt so much? Today, I went riding with my friends, and on the way back home, got hit by a car. I slowly started to remember. I had gone out today with my friends to have some fun. But on the way back, the weather had suddenly taken a turn for the worse. A heavy rain had started pouring over us. Once my friend and I had parted ways, I rode my bike through this mountain road to get back home. I could hardly see anything. All of a sudden, a person had come into view right before me. I had tried to brake in a panic, but the bike's tire slipped, and before I knew it, I'd ended up like this. I tried turning my body a little. Pain flared up like fire, but at least now I could faintly feel my limbs. Where was my bike? My first urge was to search for it, but my body was in too much pain to move properly. You should always wear a helmet when you're riding a bike, although I suppose it's not very much help against a car. On top of that, something warm flowed from my head. Something that wasn't rain. Oh, I like the little cursor, the little blood drop. My body wouldn't move. I could feel my consciousness waning. I was probably done for. I couldn't tell exactly what had happened to me, but it felt as though I was fatally injured. My body was starting to go completely limp. As cold as the rain felt, I couldn't make a move to escape it. It seemed I'd breathed my last on this cold, hard asphalt. To think that just a short while ago, I'd been having the time of my life, riding around with my friends. So cold. I let my eyes fall shut. Merely keeping my eyelids open was agonizing at this point. And I was so terribly sleepy. It was somehow different from normal drowsiness. I couldn't resist it one bit. Some dim corner of my mind realized that this was what dying must have felt like. You're still alive? I heard a voice. It was a woman's voice. But since my eyelids wouldn't open, I couldn't tell who it was. Well, you're lucky that you didn't fall off the other side of the road. You won't survive with injuries like those. What was she saying? I couldn't make her words out over the sound of the rain, but I could tell she was speaking to me. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Do you still want to live? Do you want to be saved? If you want to survive, there is a way, but I hadn't understood what she said earlier. What she said just now, however, reached my ears clearly. That if I wanted to survive, there was a way. That was what she said. I was sure of it. Survive? Was she saying she could help me survive? Should I ask her for help? Yeah, you definitely should ask her for help. Huh. My throat clamped shut. It was hard just to say one word. But I wanted to survive. I didn't want to die here. Help. All right. Before I could say anything else, she brought her face close to mine. A moment later, I felt the sensation of lips against my neck. Oh, vampires, vampires, the first feeding, the transformation. A tiny jolt of pain shot through me. Ah, what a lovely moon. What a great prologue. That was wonderful. I wonder who the scenario writer is. Could it be Banzai Izumi? He wrote some of the other Blackslight games, so I think he probably wrote this one. Again, the visual effects they're simple, but they're very impressive. The fog, look at the fog coming over the paper doll. It looks very, very cinematic, don't you think? And this music, this background music, it's so... Gosh, this is so nostalgic. It's so good. I've never played it before, but it's nostalgic because I'm familiar with their other games. A girl whispers as she stands atop a bridge overlooking a city. Another girl asks that with a vacant expression. The moonlight shining through the clouds gives their eyes a mysterious gleam as the sea breeze toys with their hair. Gosh, this voice acting is really, really, really good. Blackslight is so talented at picking like the perfect voices for the characters. I think they really did a stunning job, as always. And look how pretty she is. This is the same artist who did Extravaganza, Gore Screaming Show, Mindead Blood, the Yummy no Koi series. Holding down her hat so that the wind won't blow it away, one of the girls, Sonohara Yuna, curls her lips into a thin smile. Garbed in something resembling a dress, she stands a step ahead of the other girl. She must be the new vampire. The girl with beautiful blonde hair, Nanase Shizuha, whispers that in an anxious expression. Gosh, this is just... I love the panning shots. She holds her relatively short skirt down as she looks down at Chisakura city lights. A pair of fangs that seem too large for her petite frame peep out from behind her slightly parted lips. Yuna gives Shizuha a glance before taking her hand. Lesbians. Shizuha stares back in surprise for a moment, but squeezes Yuna's hand and steps forward. She almost looks a bit embarrassed. Wait. Is this the... I swear they've used this background music before. Or maybe this is a remix. This sounds very familiar to a Mindead Blood background music. It sounds very, very familiar. Did they reuse the same song? It sure sounds like it. The city is larger than I thought. God, she's so pretty. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Look at the corset with the little diamonds on it, and the red frilly cloak, and the beret. Ah, bite me, please. Bite me. I would love to be a vampire. Now that they're here in the heart of Chisakura, Yuna turns around in place to look around the street. Since it's quite late at night, there isn't another soul in sight. The only signs of life that some of the apartment building windows are lit. Few of the citizens are awake at this hour.
どこに隠れるの？どこか適当な家に押し入って家主を吸血してもいいのだけど、せっかくなら過ごしやすい場所がいいと思わない？過ごしやすい場所？ちゃんと調べてあるわよ。あっちの山の方に行きましょう。そこに大きな洋館があるらしいの。
Like a hotel?
わ
Or
ざわ
like a
ざ
mansion?
そんな場所に行くの？追いつかれちゃうかもしれないのに。
Shizuha glances over her shoulder, her expression clouded with anxiety. The two of them are very much on the run. The luxury of leisurely picking out a hideout is one they can scarcely afford.
大丈夫よ。しっかり巻いたのだから。この町に来るとしても何日か先になるはず。
I see a fang! I see a little fang!
多分ね。
Probably. That doesn't very much set me at ease. Yuna turns to look at Shizuha and gives her a playful wink.
それに、やっぱり吸血鬼には洋館がぴったりでしょ。
That's very true. Vampires and mansions, it's a must. They just go together.
よくわからない。静葉はまだまだね。こういうのは感覚的に理解してもらわないと。そんなこと言われても。
Aw, so she's the new girl and she's the experienced veteran. She bit her when she got in the bike accident.
もっと堂々としなさい。私たちは吸血鬼なのよ。普通の人間よりも強くて長寿で可憐な存在なのだから。
That's true. They're definitely very elegant looking. Yuna spreads her arms wide, elegantly twirling on the spot. Vampires. They are vampires that outwardly appear human, but are actually entirely different from mankind. By consuming the blood of others, they grow in strength and produce more of their kind in the process. They've mingled with human society since ancient times and still exist in the modern era. Yuna and Shizuha are two such vampires.
ユナは人間の方が良かったって思ったりしないの？吸血鬼じゃなかったら命を狙われる心配もないのにって。そんなもしもの話をしたところで意味はないわ。私たちが吸血鬼だという事実が変えられるわけではないのだから。
That's very true. What's the point in dwelling on it when, it is what it is? Although vampires have bodies far stronger than that of humans, there are humans who make it their calling to exterminate vampires in turn. Those people are known as hunters. Just as vampires have existed since antiquity. I don't know. Just as vampires have existed since antiquity, so too have hunters. While vampires are superior in terms of physical ability, humans have constantly developed unique weaponry and tactics to combat them, like a wooden stake. In fact, it is precisely because of an encounter with hunters 2 days ago that Yuna and Shizuha have come to Chisakura. They are fleeing from them.
私は人間の血を吸うつもりはないのに。
It kind of comes with the territory.
正確には私の血以外はでしょ？
Oh, I guess they can feed off each other's blood?
それはいいのよ。静葉をそんな風にしてしまったのは私なのだから。
Aww.
さあ、そろそろ行きましょう。こんなところでのんびり立ち話してる方が危険よ。大きな洋館だっけ？この町の開発に関わった男が
Look at that!
一人で住んでるらしいわ。確か名前は。
That's so cool! I love how much like a film it is. The camera panning through the trees into the mansion. It is just so... It's so cool. It's so breathtaking. Oof. She got bit again? Oh. Psyche lets out a muffled cry as a pair of fangs stab into his throat. Later that night, the two girls invaded his home. He is powerless to resist as he falls to their clutches. Oh, these noises, my gosh. While Psyche is an aging man, it wouldn't have made a bit of difference if he were younger. No mere man can fight back against a vampire like Yuna in this situation. The gap in physical ability between humans and vampires is simply that wide. Now that his blood has been sucked, he'll be forced to spend the remainder of his days as her minion. At first he tried to resist it, but now his limbs have stopped thrashing. He has been rendered utterly docile.
思ったよりは美味しい血ね。それだけいいものを食べて暮らしている。
Gosh, I love her expression. Oh, come on, eat up.
シズハも試してみたら？吸いたいでしょ？
It's not gonna hurt him anymore at this point.
私は、いい。
Oh, come on. That's a perfectly good meal.
何を我慢しているの？今夜は満月。私たちの吸血衝動が最も高まる日よ。それでも、私は。
I see the blush. I see that. Shizuha looks away, a faint blush at her cheeks. Like Yuna said, her vampiric impulse is running rampant at the moment.
人間を吸血するのは抵抗がある。
Well, I mean, she's still new to this, so she still has her morals.
まあいいわ。今はこの男を眷属にすることが一番重要だ。
Oh my gosh, he's so cool! I love Yuna! Okay, he's just screaming. For people who don't know, for Black Psych games, it was very common for them not to give any man a voice, even background characters. So this isn't too surprising. It's not because of budget, it's just sort of their style. That's why Seiki doesn't have a voice. As Yuna walks away, the man collapses to his knees. His eyes have turned red, and his expression is contorted with ecstasy.
私は園原ユナ。わかるわよね。私はあなたの主人よ。
Yes, yes, Goshishin-sama! I am your humble servant. Yes, Mistress Yuna.
この館、気に入ったわ。しばらく住まわせてもらうから。あなたは私たちの世話をするの。いいわね。
Order me as you wish, mistress.
いい子ね。ちゃんと命令通りにできたら、後でご褒美をあげるわ。
Reward, huh? Yuna reaches out and caresses Saiki's chin. While her gaze is full of clear disdain, the old man's lips are curved in a blissful smile. This is one of the ways that vampires multiply. They suck humans' blood to place them under mental thrall, adding them to their minions' ranks. Feeding on blood simultaneously heightens the vampire's power, allowing them to continue fighting against their adversaries. So thirsty, so thirsty.
今夜は満月だからね。吸血衝動が高まって辛いでしょ。
I want blood. Someone give me blood.
ご褒美はちゃんと命令が聞けた後だと言ったでしょ。
What must I do?
そうね。何か美味しいものでも買ってきてちょうだい。あちこち転々としてきたから、最近は落ち着いてゆっくりと食事もできなかったのよ。
I don't think she means something from the grocery store. I think she means like go kill a person and bring them back for us. By your will, mistress. I will prepare the ingredients immediately.
あら、あなたが作るの？
I have been living by myself a long time. I have some experience with cooking.
そう？だったらお願いね。美味しかったら私の血を吸わせてあげるわ。
Nice.
だから絶対に他の人間の血を吸ってはダメよ。
Why would that be a bad thing? Yes, I will certainly satisfy you, mistress. Psyche leaves the room, his eyes shining with expectation. After watching him leave, Yuna takes a seat in a nearby chair. She turns her gaze toward Shizuha, who's remained standing this entire time. She narrows her eyes as she smiles.
座ったら？不安そうね。そんなに怖い？だっていつハンターが来るかわからないし。
Oh, that's true. Shizuha shivers, wrapping her hands around her shoulders as if to embrace herself. She hates fighting. Nothing frightens her more than an encounter with a hunter. Her way of thinking is very different from most vampires' proclivities. Despite being a vampire, Shizuha abhors the idea of violence, both as a victim and a perpetrator.
シズハ、聞いているの？寝室に行きましょう。
Alright. Okay. I can guess what happens next. I can guess what happens next, so... Hold on a moment. We want to go to... No, I want to go to the hacking... configuration. How do I get back to the main menu? Well, this is about it. I can't show any more for obvious reasons, but I hope you enjoyed this little preview of Sadistic Blood. Now, if you're interested in playing it, it's sold by Just USA, so please check it out if you would. Hopefully, it'll sell enough copies that we can get a physical edition in the future. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye!